Welcome to a special episode of The Platform. Super cool to have Bruce Buffer on the show. The UFC is going gangbusters around the world, and each time it's on, we look forward to hearing this.
And now, this is the moment UFC fans around the world have been waiting for. Live from Chicago,
Yeah, he's the best in the business at getting us pumped up, and super fun to have him on the show. A big thank you to Kristen for organising it and getting Bruce to jump on Skype, and here he is. It's so cool to have you on the show. Thank you so much for your time. How's things?
All good, all good. Just busy, traveling, moving and shaking. Last night was at a big event with Snoop Dogg. We had it. Yeah, there's a thing here called the LA Sport. Are we rolling now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry, guys, impromptu. It's a thing called LA Sports Spectacular. They have a whole bunch of athletes there, and they were honoring The Rock's agent, who's a friend of mine and a friend of Dana's, named Brad Slater.
Right.
And Dana White was there. He got up, and we were hanging out for a while, and a whole bunch of basketball, football stars, plus Snoop Dogg, of course. And it's like a big catered affair, and it was like tons of fun.
Is like Snoop Dogg like stoned all the time?
I think probably Snoop Dogg definitely is walking on a cloud of fun all the time. You know, you never know. If he disappears, I'm sure he's enjoying himself somewhere. I'm not the one hanging with him doing that, but yeah, I'm sure Snoop Dogg is definitely loving life.
Yeah, I love that guy.
He's cool. He's actually a very highly intelligent individual, and he's just funny as funny can be. He's hilarious.
Well, Bruce, the show I do, man, is all about stories, and I saw the interview you did with BT Sport. It's awesome, and it touched on your story a little bit. How did it all get going for you? Like, what an incredible journey to look back on. UFC.
Yes, it is. Absolutely is. Everything we talked about there, I wrote about in my book, which is available probably still on Amazon over there. It's sold out in the stores, but I went into great detail about it because, quite frankly, that road, that fork in the road, had I not met Michael, then became manager and business partner, some 30 years ago almost now, to the point where I'm 23 years inside the Octagon. I don't know if we'd be even having this conversation,
Boxing announcer Michael Buffer is known the world over for his elegant tuxedos, perfectly coiffed hair, and, of course, those 5 famous words.
Let's get ready to rumble!
What's not widely known about Buffer is that he grew up in foster care, with no memory of his biological father, until one day in 1989 when he was announcing a fight in California.
One of the waitresses came up and handed me a note and said, "Call Joe Buffer." And I was like, "Oh, that's my biological father."
So what'd you do?
So we chatted and decided to meet for dinner. Nice guy.
He had a great voice, too.
Michael was also meeting someone else for the first time, his long-lost half-brother, Bruce.
In walks Michael, and it's just, I can't even put into words the feeling that I had that evening. And that was the beginning of where we're at today.
I told the story about how he was raised under a foster name of Huber after my dad last saw him when he was 2.5. But they never formally adopted him, so his paperwork was never changed. And when he went in the Army at 20, that's when he started going by Michael Buffer, because the U.S. Army said, "Hey, you're not Michael Huber. You're Michael Buffer. Okay, let's just get real here." And that's it. I mean, I would have been looking on the screen and seeing this, great announcer, announcing and doing what he does, but it says Michael Huber. And I'm like, oh, that guy's cool. I'm a fan. And that's probably would have been it right there.
When you think about the odds of having 2 brothers in 2 different sports at the top of the game announcing, you couldn't buy a ticket to get that. That's just crazy to look at.
No, it's kind of like a movie script, written perfectly. But as the saying goes, especially, in England, that great saying, they always say, we kind of like to mimic them in America. Everything's going according to schedule. I've had this planned out since the beginning. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to be an announcer. We agreed I wouldn't do boxing. I said, something's going to come along. I've been in martial arts since I was 12, training, fighting, everything. And it's like, it's my world. I knew it was my world when I saw it. So like everything in life, you got to fight to get what you want. And I fought to get the job, and it wasn't easy. But once I got it, I held on to it. But, every night I walk out there, what drives me and keeps me going is Snoop and I were actually talking about this last night, Passion, when he performs and when I do my thing. Because he's like, you're always this, you're always that. I go, you know what? It's real simple. Every night I walk out, that's my first night. That's the night that I got to prove to myself that I'm still worthy of being the voice of the Octagon. So whether my back's blown out, my ACL's severed, 140-degree temperature, whatever, the show must go on. These guys are fighting, okay? These men and women are putting their blood, sweat, and tears on the line. I can get out there, do my thing, but I got to prove that I deserve it. I'm just not one of those. You'll never, ever hear me say, oh, I had a great show 3 shows ago. No, that was 3 shows ago. I'm more concerned about how I'm going to be when I walk into that thing tonight.
Yeah.
You know, then that's, once I lose that attitude, once I lose that passion, then you'll hear me say it's time for me to retire. And I will. Trust me.
The other cool thing that I saw in that interview was like talking about the strategic thing of how you got going in the UFC. Like, you know, at the beginning there, you were managing a fighter and you really wanted to be an announcer. Like, tell us about that.
Yeah, you know, I managed a fighter named Scott the Pitbull Ferrazzo. And if for those of you UFC fans that are watching, if you go into the Google or whatever, this guy was an animal. He sent me a VHS tape from Minnesota, like 6'1", arms down to his friggin' ankles, you know, like just a Neanderthal, you know, 340 pounds. It was like, in those days, they loved the Tank Abbots getting off the bar stools and walking in the Octagon, right?
Yeah.
So I sent the tape into the owner, and I said, look, this is my fighter. And it was all ploy on my part. I didn't want to be a manager or a fighter. Scott was really a cool guy, so I said, oh, great, I'll do this. But I knew once I got him in, they'd have to fly me down with him, right? Which is different than me flying down myself. I'm flying down with my fighter, right? So now I'm inside the party the night before. I know the whole setup because I've been going to UFCs before because I had Michael do 3 of the shows. And I hit Robert Meyerowitz up that night, and I said, look, I got my tuxedo in the bag. Let me announce the prelims. Let me show you what I got. You need a buffer in the Octagon. You need me. I've got the media contacts. I'll help you build the sport, but I got to grow with you as the announcer. And then Scott fought the one fight, and that was it. I was done. I didn't manage him past that point. That was just a total ploy on my part. Total.
I love that.
Yeah, I know fighters' mentalities, and, you know, they're some of the greatest and some of the craziest people in the world, and they're so much fun. I don't want to manage them on a day-to-day basis. I'd rather be their friend and party with them and work with them.
Right.
I didn't want to be a fight manager. I wasn't interested in that. This was just a ploy on my part because I wanted to be the announcer. I wanted to be the Octagon announcer. So I figured, how am I going to get this to happen? I was calling the offices in New York, and they said, listen, the announcer's uncle had passed away, has to go to a funeral. We need you in Alabama in 2 days. Can you be there? And I said, oh, I'm in the hospital. I'm with my mom. She just had a serious operation. She's recuperating. She's half awake. She's listening to the call. I said, listen, I'll call you back. And I looked at my mom. She said, who was that? She said, that was the call you've been waiting for, isn't it? I said, yeah, Mom, they called. And she gave me that whole, like in Rocky, when his wife is in the hospital and she's upset, he can't train, he can't do anything, and she goes like this, you know, win.
She gave you her blessing.
She gave me a thumbs up. She said, you gotta go. Don't worry about me, I'll be okay. And she's my best friend, you know, we're very close. So I went off, did UFC 10.
Well, the other cool thing was like the sort of like a screenplay moment was when you're with your mum who was in the hospital and you get this call.
That was right out, like I said in the thing, that was right out of Rocky. I mean, it literally was. I'm sitting there getting the call. She's half in, half out of what she just went through, but she knew what was going on. My mom's been is my best friend my entire life. Luckily, I still have her with me. Lost my dad about 10 years ago. Loved him to death too. But, you know, when she looked at me and gave me like the thumbs up, it was right out of Rocky, man. It was like, oh my God, this is just another movie script. I'm gone. I'm out of here. You know, I got to get down there. I got to show them what I can do and get this thing. And then when I showed them what I can do, they didn't hire me. They hired somebody else. It's like, wow, what else do I have to do now? So I'd fly to New York. I'd stop in the offices, you know, let's get out. Let's have some drinks. Let's this. In life, I'll say it again. You have to ask for the job. Don't wait. Don't wait for things to happen. Make them happen. Okay. Give it your best shot, right? Without being overly too much. And that was a whole 1.5-year process. And then when they called me back and they said, Warner Brothers wants you to co-star on Friends, but they need to send somebody down to get tape and video. Can they come down? I said, yeah, sure, of course. So they came down, they got it, they called me, said, be on the set at 6 a.m. I'm there rehearsing with all the cast and Friends. And
Hey.
God, Ross, what is that?
Hey, it's the ultimate fighting combo. Yeah, I save 30 cents, plus I get to keep the cup.
From New York City, New York, appearing in his Ultimate Fighting Championship debut. He's known for his confrontational business style. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Pete Becker! And his opponent, from Huntington Beach, California, he's a 300-pound street fighter, Tank Evans!
And then I had lunch with some of the people and saw the owner again. I said, look, I feel like a girl waiting to be asked to the prom. You know, nobody's asking. I'm asking you, but you're not asking me. Let's get this down. This is the last time I'm going to ask you. I need to be the voice of the Octagon. I need to grow with this sport. I will help you promote this sport. And together, it's going to be more than me just being the announcer. I'm going to do everything I can to let people realize this is going to be the biggest, most exciting thing. And I truly believe this in sports. This is going to be the biggest thing ever, right? And I never lost that attitude. And that was the best poker hand I ever played. And we made the deal. And then I did every show nonstop, no matter where I was. Even one time with Dana, we did a show in Jersey, and I had to be in Belo Horizonte, Brazil, 16 hours later in the Octagon in a tuxedo. How am I going to do that? I can't get there commercially. He says, Dana, like, you get your bag to the arena. We're leaving right away. We're flying down together. You're getting in the Octagon. I wound up doing 2 shows in 2 hemispheres, different hemispheres, in less than 24 hours. That was my almost famous rock star moment, you know. But I continued that pace, and about 6 or 7 years ago, I forget exactly which, more shows started happening when they're back and I can't physically be there. So like any smart big company, you've got to have somebody in just in case I can't be there. And now there's another announcer named Joe Martinez that will take about 6 shows a year. And I still want to work them. They want to give me a rest. So what do? I'll go announce NASCAR that same weekend, which I did last year. Joe's doing a show in Mexico or wherever, South America. And I'm like, I don't need to sit. NASCAR's calling. So I go announce NASCAR on NBC. That's what I do. You know, I'm a road warrior. I mean, I'm a media mercenary. You point, I shoot.
That's awesome, man. And I love the fact, too, that, like, it's kind of like you manifest these things, you know, with strategy, you, like, make them happen. Have you always been like that?
Yeah. It's, I'm a big poker player, right? And I enjoy poker because of a couple reasons. A, I'm not surfing big waves. I'm not, you know, fighting or sparring. It's easy to stand to or fall down or get knocked out anymore, which I love. I just can't take the shots the way I used to. I mean, I could, but it's going to hurt for a couple days longer than you used to. Big time. Yeah, just be real. You shouldn't be fighting at my age anyway. But I'm saving it for when I have to really do it. That's okay. I want to save that 30 seconds or 15 seconds when I need it. Competitive spirit is a big thing with me, right? So when playing poker and doing all that, and answer your question, I try to think 3 steps ahead. Kind of like chess. You know, when you play chess, you're not focusing on the move that you're just making. You're focusing on 3 moves ahead. What are they going to do? What are you going to do? Or farther, depending on how brilliant you are, you know, in the game. That's the way I look at life. Every move is for a reason, and every move is going to create a counter move that you better be able to react to and predict what's going to happen. And that's when I sit at a poker table with you. I'll analyze the players for 30 to 60 minutes, get their patterns down as best as I can, and then pick my opponent and go after him. You know.
What's your best story where, because I mean, I don't know cards that well at all, but I guess with poker, if you have a bad hand, you can still win because you're bluffing the guy, right?
I like winning with the worst hand. Don't play the cards, play the player, baby.
So, you know, what's the worst hand you've had where you've thought, I've got the worst cards ever, but I reckon this guy's going to fold?
7-2 off, one of the worst hands you can have, 9-3 off, whatever's in there, or maybe bottom pair on the board, knowing they have a better pair. Here's the thing in poker. When those cards hit the center, right?
Yeah.
You have to sit and figure what they call the range of hands that your opponent has. So you need to understand the type player they are. Are they a wide range? Will they play anything? Are they tight, where they're only going to be betting with kings and aces, and you won't be able to push them off the hand, right? But if suddenly the board looks like there's a flush, you know, 5 of the same suit, do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's say there's 3 hearts on the board, or 4, and I watch this pattern of betting, and when that heart hit the turn, I don't even have a heart in my hand. But I'm going to bet like I have the flush, right? Because I know they don't. But I know that flush will beat what they have in their hand, reading them. So I'll put them to the test. and then you put it out and you put it to a test. And in poker, it's kind of like in fighting. When you go into fighting and you want to take the guy out, one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to knock him out or you're going to get knocked out. So you better be prepared for the consequences.
Wow. Well, man, I'm sure people around the world that see you doing your stuff all the time would you'd be a hero to a lot of people that want to be involved in the UFC. But for you growing up, who was like a hero for you?
My dad. I love my dad tremendously. He taught me a lot of stuff. We also fought. I don't mean fought like that. I mean, head to head, father, son, love, sometimes a little hate relationship, because my dad was a very strong man. He was in the Marines for 13 years, served in World War II in Korea. When I think I said this in the BT thing, when I'd walk in a room and I'd say, "Hi, Dad," I was like 7, 8. "Hi, Dad." "Son, project your voice. Let them know you're in the room. Look them in the eye. Shoulders back, chest out. Come on." So, teaching me fighting techniques before I go to school at 6 years old. "Son, they're going to pick on you. They're going to steal your lunch money or try to. This is what you do. They come up behind you, pick up your foot, stomp them right in the instep of your foot. Look how this works. They get in front of you, punch them directly in the nose. Don't wait, just do it." Right? First guy at school, guy comes up behind me, grabs me behind. I'm about to get jumped by about 3 dudes or whatever, little kids,
Yeah.
And I'm a little kid. I picked up my foot, stomped down on this kid's instep. He started crying like a baby, and I said, "You know what? I'm going to listen to everything my father tells me from now on," because he knows what he's talking about. So he had me watching boxing and teaching me all that. I've been involved in fighting, I think, since I jumped out of the womb. My grandfather was a champion of the world in 1921 in boxing.
Wow.
He's in the history books. His name's Johnny Buff, and he was a flyweight bantamweight champion.
That's
and
awesome.
That's my dad's birth certificate father. I never met him. He actually, if I'm not mistaken, died the year I was born.
Wow.
And so it's been in there. And my dad was Golden Gloves and quite a street fighter. And it's a different breed back then. The generations, and I mean this with all respect to the generations, but we're not getting tougher. Okay, the old generations, we're talking tough. World War II, everything. This is a different breed, but it's just the way the world's going. Technology makes things easier, makes things more difficult too. So it's a give and take situation.
There. I think we made it. Let's go. Let's go. It's a party and it's still time. It's gotta be mansion worth $2.3 billion. Introducing Lou, the Violator Dorchan.
Man, you must have some crazy experiences over there, and especially living in California and stuff. I mean, you get a lot of celebrities going to the UFC events. I mean, if there's one person you haven't met yet, or what's been like your best sort of LA moment for you?
Wow, there's so many. I mean, I grew up in Malibu since I was 15. I moved from Philadelphia to Malibu as a kid. And down the street, who became a good friend of mine, was the great actor Steve McQueen. So I used to surf at his house every day. His son's still one of my best friends. This was a street called Broad Beach, and at one point, Stallone lived there, and Steven Spielberg, and I can just go on and on. Danny DeVito, the guy from Cheers, right? Danny DeVito every July 4th would spend like 30,000+ and bring in a barge for all the fireworks off the beach. In those days when you moved to Malibu, we were middle class. We weren't rich. The actors, they all lived at the beach. If you were middle class, you could easily live in Malibu. You can't do that today. It's gotten so expensive. So I've watched since 1972. That's how long I've lived there or been there at the time. I don't live there now.
Yeah.
But still have a lot of contacts there. I know Malibu.
Man. When you're in the ring and you're about to do your thing, and the atmosphere and energy that's building from people waiting for these big main events, what's it actually like for you before the microphone goes to your mouth? Like it must be incredible energy.
It is. It's like how a fighter warms up in the corner before they get going, right? And I don't know what I'm doing. People tell me what I'm doing. I mean, I might be moving my legs, moving my arms, stretching, getting ready. And I know probably some people are like, what the hell's that guy doing? But I've been sitting there for 6 hours. I want to get up there and move because, I like to move when I work. And it's like, I'm just getting loose and I'm getting into it. I'm kind of like, before I would step in and go a few rounds with somebody, it's like, I want to get that feeling. I know that feeling. I want to get that. So when I'm in there honoring these great warriors, female and male both, I want to give them every ounce of what I have to take them to that next level. I'm there for the fans and the fighters, of course, but I actually block out the audience. When I'm announcing, I just have them in my eyesight, my gun sight, right? And I'm constantly looking at their eyes. And I've seen some amazing reactions in fighters over the years where I don't want to mention any names where I could tell I don't know if this is their night,
Right.
Let's see it.
Right. Okay.
They let me get very close. They let me enter their space. I don't think any other announcer, from what I've watched, a fighter will let them, or they come over to me now. And fighters will sometimes get right in my face when I'm announcing. It's like, that's a major compliment. I think it's totally cool. I haven't been hit yet, so it's all good.
The other great thing I saw in that BT Sport interview was when you were talking about the catchphrase, it's time, and how you relate that to your life daily. I'd love to ask you about that. Like, it takes a lot of commitment and dedication, but have you always been like that too?
Yeah, I've always been a self-motivator because I love motivating people around me. I have like a basic theory. If everybody around me is in business, is making money, is happy with their work, then that is all going to come to me. It's a very unselfish, non-selfish way of looking at the way I live life and do business. Just be the best you can be, and it'll all come back to you. So in the morning when I wake up and I want to achieve, I'm a salesman. I'm originally in sales and marketing. I've owned telemarketing companies. I live to close sales every day, even in my own business here. I love the art of negotiation, the art of the close. And you got to have a tenacious attitude to do that, because you're not working just for a salary. You're working, usually in that case, on a commission, to where you only get what you perform or you close enough to get. It's all based on your efforts. So every day to me is like, it's time to be the best I can be. Sure, I had a great sales day yesterday. Well, I was yesterday. You're going to get back to it. That's the past, okay? This is what's reality is. What's going to happen now? So you have to make it happen, okay? Yeah. I just don't sit there and let the day go by. I always want to be the best at what I do for me. I always want to be the best, like, numbers. If I see something there, to me, again, it's competitive edge. If somebody's selling a bunch, then I tell myself, well, I'm going to beat that guy, right? That's the sales manager. I want to be the sales manager, right? I want that job.
Yeah.
Okay? How am I going to get it? I got to prove myself. I got to do it. I got to show that I'm worthy. Wow. Never lose that fire. I'm not ready to retire, bro. I got that fire, and I'll always keep it going.
Oh, you can see that as clear, very evident. You've been on, as you said before, Friends. You've also been on Entourage, and you've been in Hot Tub Time Machine too. What's it like for you doing these kind of roles? Do you enjoy being on set?
Yeah, it's fun because when I was a kid, I wanted to be an actor, and my idols. You talk about some of my heroes were actually actors. The great actor Errol Flynn. I always liked his lifestyle and the way he let it be in the road. He's one of my favorites, ready to throw down at a moment's notice and then kiss the pretty girl, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
John Wayne, even Steve McQueen before I met him, and I kind of like love getting into not into the characters, but just like it just was really cool. And to be an actor and to go out there and to live that kind of lifestyle, travel the world and have these amazing adventures was always attractive to me. And now I get to do that in a different way. But when they call and they say, hey, do you want to co-star in Friends? Do you want to co-star in Entourage? Do you want to be in Hot Tub Time Machine? It was when I just did Holmes and Watson, right. Not one of the greatest movies in the world, but our scene was pretty awesome. Michael and I ran it together. These are fulfilling childhood dreams that I would always aspired to maybe have one day. So now I get to do them. So forgetting the money, that's all great, and I'll be the first one to cash the paycheck. But the experiences are just phenomenal, and I'm fulfilling personal bucket lists of things that I wanted to do. So yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It was a mistake, Chuck, I swear. It was just a giant misunderstanding. I thought it was a stupid-ass hidden camera show called Gotcha. I should have known better. Chuck, I would never disrespect you. So please, accept this sincere apology.
John, get down on your knees and beg for forgiveness, and I might show you mercy.
Please, Chuck.
Look, John, you got two choices. Either you get down or we throw down.
Man, and you get to travel a lot, obviously, doing what you do, and you've been out to Australia a few times. We love the UFC over here. What's your memories of Australia?
First off, I love the accents, okay? It's always great. And your accent's amazing. But the people there, I've been there many times. Sydney's one of the greatest cities in the world, without question. Melbourne is like New York over there, but even it's got a different flair to it. And then the other cities we've been to, from Perth to you name it, it's like everybody is so nice. They love their UFC, great restaurants, great things to do. In Sydney, I think you can do anything. You can ski, you can surf, you can do all this stuff, the arts. It's just fantastic. I can't say enough about Australia. The only one thing that's a pain is coming back is the true evidence of time travel, because I'll leave at 12 on Sunday and land at 10 here, before I left Australia. I wish I could make bets like that, but it doesn't quite work, kind of like place them after it happens.
Exactly.
But that's the only issue for a lot of people, because the jet lag coming back sometimes can nail you. So you got to get your sleep patterns down right. But other than that, it's a great experience. I love it.
Nice, man. Well, I love asking people about chasing dreams and stuff, and also advice you'd have for maybe someone out there chasing a dream. What would you say to young people about getting out there and having a crack?
The main thing is that whatever you're focused on, what is your passion? What are you passionate about? What do you enjoy in life most? And think about how you could monetize that. Is there a way to get involved in something work-wise where you're in something that you truly love? If you can be in something which you love to do, and you wake up in the morning to perform your job, it's not really a job at that point, it's a lifestyle. So you're leading a lifestyle that you're designing for yourself, and it's around things that you love. If you have the capability of doing that, that's kind of like the alpha mega. Like, I love announcing. I'm doing something I love to do. And yeah, it's work. People might think it's really easy, but everybody from John Anik to the commentators, there's so much preparation, things we go through. It's still a job, but we love what we do. And main thing is set your goals. That's like I say in my podcast. So I say this for a reason. Set your goals, write them down. Don't just keep them up here. Write them down. You're not going to do anything unless it's written down. You can see it. It's just a personal opinion. And go for it. And when you step on that path, the big thing is look at the people around you that are the most successful doing a job that you're setting out to do. Unless it's something so unique, nobody's done it before. But look at the most successful people and ask yourself, what makes them successful? What are they doing that makes that work? And then develop your own style, whether you're announcing like I am in one aspect of what I do, or whether you're a salesman or you want to be the best waiter or actor in the world. What makes the best great at what they do? Then take those key points, put them in, analyze yourself, and apply them to yourself, and then apply them to what you do, and develop your style. So learn from others. And the big thing is that when you make a mistake or you do something wrong, it's not a mistake the first time you do it. It's a learning experience. The next time you do it, it's a mistake. So learn from your experiences and don't make mistakes.
I love the way you manifest and create and go for it. That's the inspiring thing, I think.
Thank you. Everybody has it in them. You just have to recognize what you want. Everybody has. I think everybody's created equal, right? It's about realizing what your abilities are and then going after them. And by doing them, then you stand out, right? But everybody has great ability and equality. I mean, obviously, we can't all dunk a basketball, okay? There are certain people that make their money because they are better at certain things.
Yeah.
But in life, I'll say it again. Think about what you want. Be respectful. Handle yourself with class. Treat everybody around you equal. But prove that you're the best at what you can be. And again, I don't care if you're a busboy, an actor, a podcast host, a fighter. It's all about being the best you can be. And then you're winning.
Yeah.
Then you're winning. Whether you're the best or not, you're being the best you can be. Then you're winning.
Yeah, that's some great advice. For you, what's on the bucket list and still part of your dreams? What else would you like to do in life?
I get to do so many things, and there's things happening right now that I can't say because I'll make those announcements when they're ready to go. But I do have, I have my own slot machine coming out online in October, the It's Time slot machine.
Wow.
And I have one for Michael coming out, the Let's Get Ready to Rumble machine. If you go to Instagram and follow me at Bruce Buffer at Bruce Buffer UFC, you'll see everything going on. But I have certain aspirations in the world of TV, hosting a special show and some other work that I want to do there. But right now, I'm just enjoying maintaining and building, maintaining the Let's Get Ready to Rumble brand, which has had one of its biggest years last year. Michael had one of his biggest years. We just signed a big contract with DAZN. As I told you before, I'm his manager.
Yep.
So working with Michael, building my brand, there's so much on the table. And one of the things that's really taken off for the fans that like UFC, but if you go to brucebuffer.com, I did this about 3 years ago. I put up the championship introduction special for Christmas. For $99, do this thing. I sound like you're in the cage. I've been paid so much more money for that, but it's like I don't want to charge fans that. Let me just make it easy. Give part of the proceeds to military, animal, and children's charities, and it grew so big that now 1 or 2 days a week is dedicated to filming the videos and the audio recorders. And we do tons of weddings, birth of babies, podcast intros, business events. It's great. So whatever anybody's wish is, we have them send in the script, and my partner Kristen they deal with, and it's fun. My favorite is weddings. It really makes people happy, and we get these great thank you notes and videos we see online, and it actually brings tears to our eyes because we really like helping people enjoy their special day, and to be part of that, it's an honor.
That's really so cool, man. Well, look, thank you to Kristen, and thanks to you. It's awesome to have you on the show, Bruce, and man, yeah, all the best with everything, and thank you.
Thank you. I'll let her know you said that, mate. I will.
Thank you. See you, Bruce.
See you down. Well, when I come down, tap me on the shoulder. The pints are on me, okay?
All right, man. Appreciate it. See you, mate. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
So there you go. A super fun chat. What a cool guy, and I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you next time on the platform.